Hey, everybody, it's Bukola here from Beyond the Pattern podcast, coming to you with a short take. This one's going to focus on the company experience. The title is It Wasn't the Company, It Was the Season. Sometimes we walk away from the very thing we wanted, not because it wasn't right for us, but because we ran into the wrong person at the wrong time and we let that be the whole story. I want to tell you about a leader I worked with who had dreamed about working at a particular company for years. Big name, strong brand. It was the kind of place you put on your vision board. So she finally got there, but within the first year, she knew something was off. Her manager felt dismissive. The team culture also felt toxic. So the experience just really wasn't anything like she imagined. So she tried her best to just work through some of the challenges, but she eventually chose to leave. And for a long time, she carried that experience like a verdict. That company isn't what people think it is. I should have known better. That dream wasn't really for me. But here's what happened later. Through networking, just regular conversations with people she stayed connected to, she started to hear a different story in those conversations. It seems that other teams at the same company were thriving. Other managers were known for developing people within that same function that she left. Other experiences looked nothing like hers. So she really hadn't had a bad company experience. She had a bad manager experience. And she left before she ever gave herself the chance to find out the difference. Now, we've all heard it. People don't leave companies, they leave managers. And it's true because a company isn't one thing, it's hundreds of teams, hundreds of managers, hundreds of microcultures, all operating under the same logo. The culture you experience is shaped by the leader you report to, the team you sit on, and the season you join. But when the experience is painful enough, we don't always stop to make the distinction. We just decide, I already know what this place is. I tried that and it didn't work, or that door closed. And just like that, the whole thing gets written off. Now, earlier this season, we talked to Heather Shafter. Heather talked about building bridges, using your voice, finding allies, navigating hard conversations instead of walking away from them. And I think this pattern lives right in that same space because sometimes what feels like leaving is actually just avoiding a hard conversation, maybe with HR, avoiding the discomfort of asking to move to a different team, avoiding the vulnerability of saying, this isn't working and I need something to change. Now, building a bridge is harder than burning one, but bridges take you somewhere. And this isn't just a career thing. The same pattern shows up in relationships and communities and opportunities we write off because of one hard experience with one person in that same space. I've seen people leave industries because of one bad boss. I've seen people stop pursuing certifications because one program wasn't the right fit. I've even seen people walk away from relationships, both professional and personal. These are relationships that had real potential because one season got hard and they decided that was the answer. One person, one season, one experience, and the whole door gets closed. So, how do you know when you're doing this? Here's what to look for. The first signal is the sweeping conclusion. When your takeaway from a hard experience is about everything and everyone, not just that specific situation, pause there. That whole industry is toxic. You might say something like, nobody in that company cares, or that's just how it is there. Sweeping conclusions are usually pain talking, not the truth. The second signal is the closed door you never actually tested. You assumed the internal transfer wasn't possible. You assumed no one would advocate for you. You assumed the other team was the same, but you never checked. And that assumption, dressed up as a decision, that's the signal. The third signal is the dream that quietly disappeared. You used to talk about that goal all the time. You used to be excited about that path. And at some point, you just stopped mentioning it. Not because you consciously gave up, but because the experience was painful enough that your mind just moved it out of sight. The question worth asking yourself is simple. Did I leave because the door was actually closed, or because the person guarding it made me feel like it was. Those are two different things. And here's what I've seen when people go back and make that distinction. Sometimes they realize the opportunity is still there, and they go back with more clarity about what they need and who they need around them. Sometimes they realize a different door in the same building was always open. They just never tried it. And sometimes they realize the experience taught them exactly what they needed to know to walk into the next version of that dream better prepared than before. The experience wasn't wasted. It was just one season, not the whole story. So here's a simple practice. Think about one thing you walked away from, a company, a role, a goal, a relationship, because maybe it was a hard experience that you had with one person or one situation. And then I want you to ask these three questions. Was the whole thing the problem, or was it one part of it? Did I exhaust my options before I left, or did I leave because it was painful? Is that door actually closed? Or did I close it? You don't have to go back, but you deserve an honest answer. Now, in closing, I want to leave you with this. Not every hard experience is a sign you're in the wrong place. Sometimes it's a sign you're with the wrong person, on the wrong team, in the wrong season, and those things can change. You don't have to write off the whole dream because of one chapter that didn't go the way you planned. People don't leave companies, they leave managers. And sometimes the most powerful thing you can do is stay curious long enough to find out if the dream was ever really the problem. One person doesn't get to close a door that was always meant for you. They don't deserve that power. Now, this week, think about one door you closed because of someone else's behavior. Ask yourself if it's really closed or if you just stopped knocking. Drop a comment or find me on LinkedIn. I want to hear what comes up for you. Hey, that's all I got today. Everybody, keep moving beyond your pattern, and I will catch you next time. Have a great week. If this episode resonated, I'd love to hear from you. You can text or leave a voicemail at 404-828-0279. That's 404-828-0279. Or you can visit me at bukolaoguntala.com to send in a question, share your story, or explore coaching and speaking services. Whether you're leading a team or learning to lead yourself, I'm honored to be on this journey with you. And if you haven't already, hit follow or subscribe so we can keep growing together.